Marhaba, and welcome to the Matrix Green Pill, where real people connect.
Hello and welcome back to the Matrix Green Pill podcast. I'm Hilmarie Hutchison, and today I am honored to introduce a remarkable individual whose story epitomizes resilience and determination. Amit Bhargava is a true inspiration who defied the odds of a life-altering event and redirected his path. From being a top student and national tennis player to navigating the challenges of paralysis, Amit's journey is a testament to the power of will and perseverance. Welcome, Amit. It is so lovely to have you on the show today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
To start off, could you please tell our audience a little bit about yourself and your background?
I'm 43 years old. Typically, like any Indian student, I have graduated with a degree in engineering. I worked for about 2 years after that and pursued my MBA. I have been associated with the IT and energy industry for the last about 20 years. As a student, I had always been a good student and a very active sports person. So I used to enthusiastically play tennis. Lawn tennis was my main sport. But along with that, I used to also play football, hockey, do a bit of rowing. All this got thrown for a toss when I was the age of 20.
So while you were studying, you were doing your degree, you were also very much involved with sports at the time. Is that right?
That's correct.
So then can you take us back to that pivotal moment in 2001 during a football match when everything changed for you?
It's kind of funny that I had gone to that tournament. There was an inter-college tournament which was happening at a nearby college. I had registered for the tennis tournament because that being my main sport. There was the day before when they asked me to play football also because they found me to be worthy enough to be in the football team. So I participated in the football match. We happened to win that match. So that's, by God's grace, the good thing which happened. Immediately after the match, I suddenly collapsed on the field. My friends just thought that it was regular exhaustion. So they took me to the side. When I didn't get up for about 5 or 10 minutes, they discovered that there was something wrong. So they carried me to the nearby medical facility. And that was the moment which really changed my life because I was semi-conscious then. And I remember the doctor pinching my right leg and my left leg, and I couldn't feel anything on the right side of my body. That was a semi-realization that something was wrong. I was immediately rushed to the hospital where there were a series of MRI tests done, followed by intensive care in other locals. So what had happened to me was that I was struck by a paralytic stroke, which essentially means that a blood clot had formed in my brain, which had gone and blocked the blood flow. So a part of my brain had actually ceased to function. That had affected the motor functions of the entire right side of my body. That was the ugly truth which had come upon me.
My goodness. So you were 20 years old at this time.
Yes.
Physically active, physically very fit, and then you get a blood clot in the brain. Essentially, it was a stroke, right?
Yes.
How common is this for somebody 20 years old, physically active, physically fit?
So I was at a later stage told that the statistics were like 1 in 10 million for a person that physically active to have a stroke like this. I don't know whether I should consider myself lucky to be a part of that or not, but it is fairly rare for a person to have what is called as a young stroke. It is fairly common as you progress in age, but at 20 years old, it was an uncommon phenomenon.
And did they ever find out what caused it, or is it just a phenomenon that they don't know why it strikes somebody so young?
It is kind of genetic. There are traces of it which are linked to genetic syndromes. Even then, it's kind of a freak of nature that it were to happen to me at that time, because in terms of physical exhaustion, I had probably been more physically exhausted at numerous other occasions. So it was not something unnatural after a regular football match. But I guess it was just a combination of factors which made it all the more telling on my physical situation.
So it was actually also amazing that you survived because your life was on the line right there.
Yes, the doctors tell me that I had been lucky. I have been lucky in life to escape out of this whole episode and come out with God's grace.
Absolutely incredible. So what was the implication for you then? You survived. That was very fortunate. What was the impact on your life?
Immediately, I see you in the hospital for about 4 days, and then thereafter in the hospital for a further 7 days. Since it had affected the right side of my body, and I was a right-hander by choice before that, it kind of put a full stop on a lot of things. Right? The first thing was physically moving about and getting your legs to perform that particular function. The second thing is usage of the hand and thing. So the blaring aspects of it all were, I was in the right side of my face also. So my speech got slurred. I generally was put on a lot of medication after that. So my typical concentration span used to be about 15 to 20 minutes, and then either choose to doze off or just be silent. As you would imagine, I was in my third year of college, so a fairly social kid and like to hang out with friends and all kinds of things. But all of that came to a tearing halt, because of which I didn't feel physically up to it to go out and spend time with friends or do anything of that sort. It was a complete reset of life.
Absolutely, I can imagine that. And also for somebody young, physically active, the psychological impact of now just being stopped in your tracks and now having to relearn basic movements. How did you encourage yourself to stay motivated and not go down into a severe depression with something like this?
There are internal feelings and external feelings. So internal feelings is what you have to deal on ongoing basis, and how do you come with what has happened to you and what is the way forward. From the internal perspective, I had been a sports person at heart, a fairly good student. So I set up small milestones for myself, which really helped in the situation, right? I was relegated to a wheelchair immediately after that. I hated the wheelchair. So I wanted to graduate from the wheelchair to a walking stick. From the walking stick, I wanted to graduate to hobbling around with the support of friends and family. There were these small milestones which I developed for myself, and that really helped in this situation, because it gave me hope that once you cross one particular milestone, you can go to the next stage and you can develop on it. Other aspect which I would like to touch upon is the external aspect, right? And I was really, really fortunate with family and friends who were really, really supportive. The feeling of pity comes forward from everybody. I kind of associated with those people who didn't look at me with pity, but more with empathy, and people who truly believe that when an unfortunate situation like this happens, there is hope in the future. You should look forward to it. I was really blessed in having both these internal and external factors taken care of.
Amazing. And as you say, the support of family and friends during this crucial recovery stage makes a huge difference. So you mentioned this thing of pity versus empathy.
Yes.
For our listeners, it's very awkward sometimes when you face somebody or you meet somebody that has faced something as big as you have faced. What advice would you give somebody who feels awkward about addressing somebody like that? What advice would you give them?
At this stage, I'd like to recount two incidents of practical situation which happened in my life, which really changed the perspective. I was in the third year of college. We were meant to do fourth year project. At that stage, I wasn't even confident about passing my exams or making it to the fourth year. So we had decided our project group. And I had a great friend called Vishal who was with me in the project group. So I approached Vishal and I told him that, I'm not really confident whether I'll make it to the fourth year. So if, you want to go ahead and find some other partner, you can go ahead and do it. Very simple fact which he said to me was that we'll go through this together and we'll see what happens after that. And right now, we'll just live in the moment and continue with it. That was one thing which really struck me as being totally awesome, which, don't think too much in the future, think about the present and just be together. The other instance was of my friend Kaushik. He was just a regular friend who used to visit me quite once in probably a week or 10 days. But he made it a point to come over to my place every single day after I had a stroke for the next 2-3 months. Initially, I was really angry at him, that why is he coming every day? But that slowly that feeling transformed into a feeling of, I used to look forward to meeting him. We used to chat about, anything and everything under the sun. But it was just a feeling of normalcy which he brought, which is another learning for me. You have to consider yourself fortunate for having been through a situation like this, and how you have to return to normalcy and feel normal about yourself. I think these two instances of my friends being there for me and supporting me just taught me some really, really important lessons. And that those are the lessons which I would like to share with the world in this forum. Believe in yourself and believe in others. No matter how daunting a situation might seem, just deal with it like normal. It plays a huge psychological impact on the other person also who's going through the situation. You behave normally and you behave like everything is going to get better.
Yeah, I love that. So be in the moment, support the person where they are, be there and provide some normalcy without focusing too much on the problem and on the future. Just be there right then for that person. I think that's excellent advice. How did you rediscover your passion for physical activity, and what role has mountaineering played in your life post-recovery?
Being an athletic person all through my childhood, it was unfortunate that, I was taken out of that athletic frame of mind. Right? I did try playing tennis for a bit after that, but I was probably not able to live up to the standards which I'd set for myself earlier. I dabbled with various other sports until I discovered by chance the love for mountaineering, because mountaineering essentially involves stamina, it involves perseverance, and it involves just going for a walk. Right. I discovered for myself that mountaineering was my passion in this current phase of life. I have managed to do successfully 3 Himalayan treks over the last 3 years. Now, these treks by no means are very treacherous or in terms of difficulty levels, very difficult. But it involved me getting back to a normal life where I would set myself a target, I would go for it. It was totally with the support and encouragement of my friends and family that I decided to embark upon mountaineering. It's a thing which I genuinely enjoy. In the current phase of life, it's important to me. I don't know whether it will last in my future life, but for the current situation, it has really, really helped me.
Amazing. I love the way you call mountaineering just going for a walk. I think it's fantastic. And then having rediscovered this physical activity helped you also set new goals and targets for yourself to push yourself further. Absolutely remarkable. Now, I know you're also a parent, you're a professional, you've got lots of responsibilities. How do you balance career, personal interests, and parenting duties?
This whole experience has taught me is that you generally have to be calm about things. And I know that's a easier thing said than done. It's about prioritization also, which is a telling factor in this. As long as you prioritize all your responsibilities or the responsibility which you choose to take on yourself, having done a fair enough job about these various responsibilities and being true to yourself is half the battle won. There is no aspect of life which actually does not interest me in terms of whatever I do. So whether it is being a parent, whether it's being a professional, whether it's being just an average guy who likes to hang out with his friends, I think they're all equally important. And I look forward to each one of them. It's about handling multiple responsibilities, but it's also about prioritization, which is really important in this whole aspect.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Setting priorities, and in that way, being able to take care of all the various things that need to be taken care of. Your story is a testament to the power of resilience and adaptation. It's absolutely incredible. What message would you like to share with young athletes or individuals facing sudden life changes due to health issues?
If I look back at my whole experience, the fact of this whole episode taking place 22 years back was the abruptness of it. It happened all of a sudden, and it happened when I was least expecting it. Once you come to terms with it mentally, there is a part about physical hardship, which I think the physical body is adept at taking care of physical challenges. I think the more crucial aspect is the mental challenges. Be open to it mentally. Don't expect things to happen in a particular sort of way. Be open to having multiple situations in your life which you had not expected. It's an acceptance of the fact that these things can happen to anybody and everybody. You just hope that they don't come to you at a particular point in time. But beyond that, the acceptance of the fact that something like this can happen to you and you having the willpower and the resilience to overcome it in whatever way possible, those are the important aspects which I would like to focus on.
The mental challenges are going to be more difficult to overcome sometimes than the physical. And so to be aware of that, because once you're aware of something, then you can better deal with it. And as you say, to accept the situation and then also be open to maybe have support to deal with that. I think that's a very good advice. Now we've reached the game segment of our show, the rapid fire round. So just as it sounds, here I'll ask you some questions expecting quick answers. So are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
What do you like most about mountaineering?
The cool air and the feeling of freedom.
Lovely. What's the most unexpected lesson you've learned from your journey?
Humility.
Oh, I love that. Tell us one mantra or quote that keeps you motivated.
Anything in life can change, and be ready for it.
If you could change one thing about the world, what would it be?
Bring more predictability in life, maybe.
What is one thing that you do every day, no matter how busy you get?
It's just the feeling of being thankful for the situation in which you are in, and expecting that today is going to be better than yesterday. I think that's the key feeling for me.
I love that. Gratitude as well. Fantastic. Now, before we wrap up, I'd like to ask you about your green pill moment. Could you share an inspiring or life-changing experience that you've gone through, your green pill moment?
When I was stuck with that paralytic stroke, I don't think I was in a physical state to acknowledge that as my moment. 1 or 2 nights later, when I woke up in the hospital and I realized that I was in that situation and happened to me, that was a pivotal moment for me. It kind of reset my life because I had to start over in the sense like, you start with basic movements, you start with basic speech and everything. So it was kind of a reset for 20 years into my life. I think that moment, which I experienced probably in the hospital in 2001, that was a pivotal moment which gave me a choice that either I could continue to live feeling that something unjust had been done to me, or I could choose to go on in life and face life's hardships. I'm really glad that I kind of went in the second direction. I've lived on from there.
That's amazing. Of course, having the stroke, having that event that totally changed your life, of course, that was a huge moment. But for you, your green pill moment was that realization, I have to make a choice. I have a choice here, and the way I set my mind now is going to change or determine how things are going to go in the future. And having chosen that mindset of taking on this challenge is what shaped the rest of your life. Absolutely remarkable. Thank you so much, Amit, for sharing your incredible journey with us today. Your story is absolutely inspiring, and I'm so certain that our audience will find it both captivating and motivating. Before we conclude, could you please tell our listeners where they can connect with you? And we'll also put this in the show notes.
My email address is amitbhargava@gmail.com. I am most connectable through email. That is probably a best way to reach out to me. I'm also there on Facebook and LinkedIn. I think that's the best way to get to me.
Okay, so email is the preferred choice.
Yes.
Okay, just say your email address again.
amit.bhargava@gmail.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And again, thank you so much for being here today. I wish you continued success and fulfillment in all your endeavors.
Thank you so much.
And to all our wonderful listeners, if you too have been moved by Amit's resilience and determination, be sure to connect with him and follow his adventures. If you enjoyed this episode as much as we did, please like, share, and subscribe to stay tuned in for more engaging conversations. Your support means the world to us.
If you enjoy our conversations, please like and subscribe. See you next Wednesday.